Afternoon to colleagues in the media. We want to welcome you to the headquarters of Football Club Cassell, the President and Chief Executive Officer, flanked by our lead counsel, attorney at law, Joseph Howard, and our Secretary General, and members of the campaign team and candidates for Cassell Kuoh for President are all here present. We want to welcome you wherever you are following this live broadcast as we respond to the ruling of the elections committee. I will now turn over to the president of the LFA. He will make the president of FC Cassell. He will make an introductory comments that will be followed by our lead counsel, attorney at law, Joseph Howard, and then we will entertain questions which will be followed by responses. Mr. President, welcome.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the press. Good afternoon, my fellow stakeholders out there viewing or listening. Good afternoon, our supporter, FC Cassell family of determined girls, Liberia, and the world at large. Today is a great day. Somebody expected me to say it's a sad day, but I chose the word great because the process is on. A few weeks ago, we were asked by the court to avail ourselves to the process. We have accepted that ruling. We availed ourselves to the process, and here we are. We have been denied by the Independent Election Committee. I believe the word independent is questioned, and I believe there should be a so-called in front of the independent, a so-called Independent Election Committee, a committee that was set up with a strict mandate, we believe, to exclude us from the process. That was the reason why we even went to the court in the first place. The committee threw a hint out there in the public from the day one by putting out a guideline that was inconsistent with the Liberia Football Association statute. So we knew that this process, however, was a process that was going to be raw. It's a process that is full of fraud. So we believe yesterday the ruling from the committee was a ruling that was premeditated. We expected it anyway. That is why we have a strong and vibrant legal team, because the game is on. As Google always said, the game is on, and we are ready to play accordingly. And I can assure our stakeholders who are yearning for change, that change is indeed on the way. Because Cassell Kuoh will be on the ballot. Cassell Kuoh will contest this very election, and Cassell Kuoh will win this election. Because the law is the law, and justice will prevail. I want to thank all our supporters out there, stakeholders out there that are in support of us, and I want to ask them to remain calm, no act of violence, follow the process. There is law in this country. Other people benefited from the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia. Cassell Kuoh will benefit from the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia. The Constitution is clear. And our legal man, Anthony Howard, will make some legal points here today. The Constitution is clear. We believe that the law is on our side. And we believe that justice will prevail. We believe that this process, even though our friends on the other side do not want us to be in this process. In fact, they don't want anybody in the process. When we said it a few weeks ago that Mustafa Raji want to be a Weah ballot president, people didn't believe it. But there was a third candidate in question of Sekou Keita. Where is he today? He's disqualified also. Because Mustafa, if you even bring Jesus Christ, the Nazarene, who have no sin, who get no blame, I can assure you that Mustafa and his surrogates will find a way of disqualifying Jesus. Because Mustafa cannot win election in his bedroom if he go against somebody. So his friend, that there will be no candidate, I repeat, no candidate to go against him. And that is complete dictatorial action. And we are not going to sit down and see it happening. We are going to stand up for our football. Football must win. The law must be the law. And the law must take its course. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. We'll now have a few words from our lead counsel, attorney at law, Joseph Yado.
No, my own, I have a few words. You're a little bit longer than the president. Anyway, I need not greet you because the president already done so. And mine is a little bit more academic. And I say that because I've always said to the guys who campaign for Cassell that it is not my place. I will never come here to you to tell you, please vote for Cassell. He has people to do that. My job is essentially to provide adequate legal representation to the extent where his rights that were not given to him by a church, by a school, by his parents, but by the very law that is being used to stop it. So I will take my time to drill you through where we came from and why are we here. And then later on, I will end where we intend to go. So a few of you follow this whole legal argument. And we landed two places. One, we're at the Supreme Court. Two, we're at the Civil Law Court. At the Civil Law Court, we went on a petition for declaratory judgment, preempting exactly what happened yesterday. Now listen, Your Honor, this man, the people who are administering the election is attempting all they will, barring from contesting by using or by the way they will interpret provisions of this statute. So do two things for us. One, please declare a right to run. Two, please make sure they don't use that law or they don't interpret the way we think that they will interpret it. Their argument was, listen, the thing about talking, we said that law, but he apply it. He came to OA for us to use a law that he said he won't use. So the judge agreed with them. Then the judge also agreed with us and said, listen, you participate in the process here. So you can't be so sure that they will interpret the law the way you're expecting them to interpret it. So you have the right to contest. Go and submit yourself to the process. So we submitted ourselves to the process. And the announcement yesterday was the outcome that we predicted. So then I said to somebody yesterday who supports Mr. Kuoh that it will be the height of cowardice if you are expecting anything. I'm sure everybody here in this room turn around and turn the camera to you. Nobody expected anything less than what happened yesterday. If you expected anything less than what happened yesterday, you shouldn't be here. You are supposed to journalists in the first place. So there was a hearing a few days ago by the election committee. That hearing attempted, now that we believe, attempted to certify the due process requirement, not necessarily to investigate or interpret the law as it should be interpreted. So I will do few things for you. I will say to you why we believe. Then, now, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, that Mr. Kuoh meets all the requirements for any surplus as laid down in the statute, or the guidelines are published by the Election Commission to be on the ballot of contest. That the decision to stop him from contesting, it is not lawful. One, we said to the committee that they scrape your authority to operate as a committee in the first place come from the statute. The statute says the FA will prescribe an electoral code. Then the electoral code says there will be an election commission. And the election commission will only interpret or enforce what's in the statute, not to make another law. When you make law, convene in Congress, you submit proposals, let delegate or member vote for it. The job of the election commission was only to interpret, not to make new law. If you look at the press release from the election commission, they made new law. Not their job. Or if they never made new law, their interpretation fell short of what the framers of the statute intended. I will tell you why. In the press release yesterday, reasons why Mr. Kuoh was barred by the committee, in their press release, or the reasoning said, in count 2, applicable laws, in count 2, they correctly stated the applicable laws is the statute, and the provision is Article 45.4 and Article 58.1. What they failed to do deliberately is, or what they did deliberately, was to read it away. It will suit their deeds. We lawyers do it. I mean, lawyers do it. I mean, the teacher had to argue for and against. You know, it's almost like you all go to accounting test. When time catching on you, when the T account can balance, you get rest on a number there so you can balance on both sides. Doesn't mean the formulas or the transaction or the entries are correct. So they deliberately said the provision expressly provided no person found guilty of a criminal offense is liable to contempt for a person. That lie. They didn't say anything. That lie. That's why I said. I will tell you what the statute said. Then you be the judge. The statute did not say no person found guilty of a criminal offense is eligible to contest for the president. The statute said. Let me tell you what the statute said. And this was what they based their decision. Let me go to 45.4. Bear with me. As I said to you, the nation said few words. Mine will not be few words. 45.4. Right? Yes, sir. Good. 45.4. The last sentence in 45.4 relating to the basis, what was dispositive of their ruling. It says, they shall not, they means presidential expiry. They shall not have been found guilty. It is deliberate. It did not say, no person found guilty of an offense. It said, they shall not have been found guilty. There's a reason for that, Yanti Toba. There's a reason for that. And part of the reason why I'm in relief, I'm happy because when Chief Justice Bese was going for a confirmation, he said Chief Justice Bese was teaching English in Simiri in Ghana. So I'm happy because they took a bond on the construction of the language in the statute. Shall not have been is a future present tense. No, it is a future perfect tense. It's deliberate. What that means is there has to be something in the past that continues in the present with implication in the future. What they wrote in his blanket is not existing. The statute, the framers of the statute were deliberate. They said, you shall not have been found guilty. What it means, my dear brothers, as at the time in the present, that if you have a past event, it will harm you in the present or it will lead into the future. So you got to continue in the future. Shall not have been. Yanti, if they say, as at the time you are applying for president, you shall not have been indebted to any bank. It means that when you're owing Louis before, it means that today when you apply, you might not be owing ever bank. Or that when you are indebted to LBDR before, they published your name in 2000. You went and settled the obligation. That's not indebted that they're talking about. That shall not have been QA. It means that when you apply now, when they say you shall not have been divorced, you shall not have been divorced as at the time you apply. It means that if you were divorced 2007 and you married now, you certify already. So they deliberately avoided shall not have been and put there that nobody should be found guilty. The statute say, and when you do that, it means you are making law. When you make law, you violate what the court told you to do at election. Let me tell you the other thing. The statute mentioned conviction, my dear brothers. Conviction. It is a product of a judicial process. You got to go to court to be convicted, correct? The statute also defines what court means. What it means. In the preamble of the statute, count 21, it defines what court means. Since the statute talking about conviction, a conviction got to come from court. It doesn't come from how you feel. Conviction got to come from court. The statute defines in the preamble what court means. And everybody else should know what preamble means. Preamble is the base when there is a reason why you form a document. So if there's any dispute in interpretation or clauses in the document, you refer to why the document was formed. The statute defines what court means. Says in the statute, they mention convention. A convention comes from court. They mention what court means. Comrades, let's go to the preamble 21. That defines court in the statute. As I said to you, they think it's beyond battleground, the academic exercise. The other day, you're bullying, you're causing the children to the AFL barrier for reading minute. They reading minute will put chair on SKD. Let everybody go there and read. It's here. In the preamble of the LFA statute, tell you what it means, what code means. The reason why they define code is because they mention something about code in the statute. They mention conviction. Conviction comes from code. In the preamble, ordinary code 21. Ordinary codes refer to the courts and legal bodies of the Republic of Liberia which hear public and private legal disputes. Now what they anticipated. So the convention they're talking about convention for ordinary courts in Liberia. Even though they failed the shall not have been test. They shall not have been, they deny, look, nobody here can tell me, no Liberian can tell me that the framers of this statute anticipated or the intention was that, hey man, me and somebody fighting on the Blackfeet in 1998, and for disorderly conduct, I was found guilty. It means that in 2026, when I'm running for LFA president, that convention will be the reason I'm not running for LFA president. No, not that left sentence. And what it says shall not have been. If you go to the statute, when I'm saying the citizen requirement, they say shall be a Liberian citizen. It means will always be with you. They say shall be a Liberian citizen. It was deliberate. They say you shall be 25 years old. They get no future present thing. When king of convention, they say you shall not have been convicted. That when you are applying, Judas, when you are applying, you should not have conviction on you. Or, an example, you were convicted in 2000 or 2020. 2023, you are getting a 10-year sentence, which ends in 2033, but you won't run in 2026 when you still carry your conviction on your back. I mean, that left sentence. Then, the court says they will deal with conviction, and a court can convict. They define what court means. Now, let me take you one step further. In Liberia, crimes are prescribed by the penal law. The penal law and other laws in Liberia, the crime that is punishable for in this country, when you're in the 43,000 square miles, the crime that they punish you for is prescribed in the penal law. Section 1.4 of the penal law, extra territorial punishment. What that means is the crime for which you can commit OSA that can be punished in Liberia, it is named. It has to be treason. There has to be espionage, or you must forge key Liberian document, the seal or the flag. B, even if you did not commit the crimes, you committed a crime on Liberia, and it is treason, or it is not treason or espionage, it says at least 50% of that crime must be committed in Liberia. Then it will punish you. That's what the penal law says. Oh, well, brother, they don't read the thing, or they read it. The code is that Cassell should not run. So, whatever it is, once you hear conviction, that's true. We never read out for conviction. But to be punished, that's the reason why, and Yanti Toba, if you are a journalist, and you go to school in Rwanda, and you hustle there, the journal message. What journal message? If you hustle away, you get a license to be a journalist in Rwanda, and you do anything that lesson gets suspended in Rwanda, period, I get to deny you. You still practice here. Because that crime is not espionage, not treason. That's the reason why our brother get deported for America. All the people get deported for America, you can see them in jail when they come here. No! Those crimes were committed in America. If you get DUI and your down lesson suspended in London, you can't even be directed on transport in Liberia. Because they're not espionage, they're not treason. The penal law prescribe that. So, all the thing we're saying is that book you load in, you open a book, you went to 45.4 to say criminal conviction, then you close the book. All the other things the book say, you want to look at it. Statutory interpretation is the wholesale. It says, when you look at the plain meaning and answer the question, go to the intent of the framers. What they intended. Do you really believe they put a golden statue wanted to stop somebody who committed a crime or who got convicted for any crime in doing nothing war from contesting any election? If that's the case, somebody who declare will not be there. You know them. If that's the case, let me take you to another place. After the committee knew that we were going to fall short on this conviction thing, they sent out forms. It says integrity. What are you around? Integrity check. Oh, after they get a form, they say, oh, FIFA say you gotta get integrity, otherwise you're not wrong. After we want to make one integrity, who the one integrity form out? Well, in school one time, one teacher gave a test. He put 40 points on one question. Everybody struggle with that question. One of the 12 in the class, 12 came out and said, oh, I read some of that question, I already completed it. Next day, the next time, they say, question number 5, cancel off in the test. We want to do question number 3 or 4. What happened to the people? After they were begging on integrated tests, when Mr. Raji integrated came into question, when count 2 of the form said, whether you have been sanctioned before by any football body, after it was discovered that Mr. Raji was sanctioned by the very NFA, interpreting laws. You're not here about integrity, you're not here about FIFA no more. They will come back to the 5.4. So, all we said, now listen, this man, by watching the statute, by watching your code, he does not meet the qualification to be disqualified. He does not meet that. He qualified by what is written. 1, that shall not have been, he passed it. He does not have a current convention on that will go in the future. He accepts that, like anybody else. It happened before, bro. We used to be in PhD on the Blackfeet. People would do all kinds of things. People would bring arrest people for us. We go to court, okay, the judge say, you're convicted, I just going to move on this other conduct. Hey, man, you tell me now, that thing happened in 2003, in 26, I won't be LFA president, what they were talking about? No. It says, you shall not have been convicted. Future tense. Future present. Future perfect tense. It means your past must continue. It must continue to a future event. So on those grounds, the denial of Mr. Kuoh, it is not within the law. Some of the people on the election commission are very good friends, very smart guys. Councillor BM, very good friend, very smart guy. That was his understanding of the statute. But it fell short of what the framework of the statute intended. They did not intend that the man will die forever and ever. You not be every person. That's what I mean. The way the statute written now, it says, even according to the interpretation, that cannot come, he cannot be pregnant. No, that's not what the statute intended. This guy had conviction in the past. He served his conviction 3 years after. There's no conviction in the future. That's why he's saying that, yeah. If you are convicted, you'll not be here. 2, that courts as anticipated by the statute means court of Liberia. 3, that punishment for that the reason why you're getting microphone for the cover. You're asking after a conviction in Liberia, whether you all fail any form to do anything in Liberia. Whether I ask any question here, because it was extraterritorial and it did not meet the qualification in the penal law for espionage, for treason. So you don't go get any Liberia. You say, oh yeah, because the Liberian man, he hit somebody's car in China, so we're arresting here to get into the city. No, you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that. So on those grounds, we believe that the decision of the Election Commission, it was prejudicial because we knew that's what they were going to do, and that they did not take the time to read the law. Read the law in content, move Cassell need for there, move convention, put Shana Abe, say Shana Abe a Muslim, or Shana Abe architect, Shana Abe electrician, Shana Abe debtor, Shana Abe anything. What it means that if you are not that thing again, you stay prohibited. What it means that it says to be LFA president, you shall be this, you shall be this, and you shall not have been this. So if you are that thing before and you are not in now, you don't qualify for that. It don't prevent you. So on those basis, the Electoral Code provider, the decision of the Election Commission is appealable. Therefore, Mr. Kuoh has instructed his team to spare no effort, absolutely no effort, to ensure that the decision of the Election Commission as published yesterday is corrected. It's set aside and it's corrected. No fighting meeting, no noise. Gentlemen, the way you interpret anything, not the right way. This thing is not a left sentence on him. It's not a left sentence on him. No, it's not a left sentence. It's not a left sentence. If you were before, the statute said that when you contest it, when you send your application, you want to be president, you must not be. You must not be. It says, anybody who will run for LFA president shall not be a tenant. Okay, I was tenant before in PhD. So because I was, he said, I didn't run. I was tenant. I am not now. And I am not in the future, or I will not be in the future. Because when you be LFA president, you will not be tenant. So the law, the anticipation of the statute is, they want nobody who renting to be LFA president. Not somebody who rented. Not somebody who rented. So that's all. On that basis, as Mr. Kuoh has instructed, we the lawyers, team of lawyers, were already prepared. Because we knew this. It's not walking around my computer. We knew this was coming. So we take advantage of all the remedial redress mechanism available to ensure that every decision taken by the LFA election committee is set aside, is corrected, and that Mr. Kuoh get to face Mr. Raji on the merits of what he would do. Or what he would do. But people facing Sarah already for inauguration. No, we support Sarah. He will run against the man. Forget about that convention, Benin. The statute don't support you. They get a statute at the right hand. It's all your convention. Boom, they make everyone know. The language in the statute is deliberate. It's deliberate. Into all the other places, they say, shall be 25 years old. Shall be Liberian citizen. Of appealing whatever decision I was taken yesterday. That the interpretation as published by the election commission, it is not what's intended or is a misinterpretation of what's written. Mr. Kuoh should be on the ballot. The area other candidate. Thank you.
All right. What an elaborate and extensive presentation by our lead counsel, attorney at law Joseph Yabo. Earlier you heard the president of FC Cassell, Cassell Kuoh, while attorney at law Yabo was speaking, the former vice president of the LFA, walked in, also is a candidate to contest for the executive committee position, and he supports. We will now entertain questions and answers. No, we have too many here, so we'll have a cap. Yeah, what we'll do the first round of 5 questions, and I will start with Michael Solomon.
Yeah, thank you. I'm Michael Solomon. I work for Prime FM, and I have two questions very quickly. I heard you say, as legal representative of Mr. Kuoh, you would take advantage of the remedy means available at the level of the Football Association. I'm concerned. Are you taking advantage of the appeal committee?
All and everything. I know where you want your question to go. All and everything that is available. Anything where you appeal, where you get appealed for the middle get where you take advantage of it.
Okay. So I'm asking that question particularly because I listened to the chairman Liberian last night.
Okay.
And one thing he said specifically was, in an event where Mr. Kuoh decides to go to the Supreme Court instead of using the available channels at the Football Association, you will be sanctioned. Are you considering that?
He said the chairman said that?
Yeah. On closing argument.
Okay, so then fine. So what you do now as a journalist, send the chairman finish saying that, find where the chairman get his authority, where he got that from. Find the code, the electoral code, or the guideline. Find where it's there. I say the chairman can sanction any candidate. When find it.
So that was his personal opinion.
Well, but to tell you the truth, we're not wasting our time with the chairman's personal opinion. As I said to you, Margot, this is a piece of academic exercise. As I say, you're violating right. You interpreted the statute wrong. Now I'm not feeding. All they are saying to you, I pointed it to the book. The only difference is you can disagree with how I interpret it. But it's there, it's written. So if the chairman said, if anybody take advantage of any forum outside of what they believe they should take advantage of, he will sanction it. Just show away any book. That will find it. Okay.
The next, we're gonna answer.
Yeah,
the next one, is specifically about the ruling count 4 that says the effect of the recent court ruling. I will read verbatim what is here. It says the LFA is a self-regulating association governed by its statutes unless a provision is struck down by the Supreme Court or amended by Congress. The electoral committee is legally obligated to enforce it. Did you consider that answer?
Okay, but it's clear, bro. The only difference is the chairperson of the election commission is a lawyer. So he exercising his legal knowledge. But it has to be done within the confines of the law. The law says the law that made him chairperson of the election commission said he will interpret what's in the statute. So what he said about only listening to the Supreme Court and no other court, they gotta be what's in the statute. Don't mind that. Come on.
Okay, we take Elijah Pin from Intel.
Okay, my name is Elijah Pine, and
Pine.
right